Now, an 18th century warship that lies on the seabed off Portsmouth is beginning to give up its secrets. Diving has been taking place around the wreck of HMS Invincible.
Now, the artefacts have been discovered and are on display at the Royal Navy Museum in Portsmouth. Many have been perfectly preserved under the Solent sand. Mary Stanley has been to take a look.
For more than 250 years she sat on the seabed off Portsmouth, and now her story is coming back to life. Teams of divers have been exploring the wreck of HMS Invincible over the last 2 years, recovering hundreds of artefacts from the 18th century warship. Now they're being carefully cleaned of sand and salt in a series of special tanks at a warehouse in Poole, part of a conservation process that could take months or years. Barrels, ropes, cannon and a preserved ammunition box among the findings.
Here we have one of the best artefacts, I think, that was recovered from the site, and it's a chest. And it's complete, and the lid just slides straight out, and it reveals the inside of the chest, and you can see that there's 8 compartments. So there's one more interesting thing about this chest, and it's evidence. It tells us something about the people on board, that they were still very superstitious in the mid-18th century, because if we turn the lid over, you can see this witch's mark, and it's meant to trap the evil spirits inside. So this shows that even on a Navy ship, you know, the crew were quite superstitious. So here we have a wooden staved bucket, and this was found on the orlop deck in like a cupboard, and we're calling it the broom cupboard because not only did we find the bucket, we found sort of witches' brooms, but also the mop head that goes with the bucket. On a sailing ship you would want to keep everything nice and tidy and clean, and here's the evidence for it. This artefact here, which is a coin, this demonstrates the preservation, and it's so clearly labelled with 32p, standing for 32-pounder cannon. So this is known as a coin that would have been used to support the breech end of the cannons.
Built by the French in 1744 and captured by the British 3 years later, she sank in an accident in the Solent. Her crew all survived. Experts say Invincible is as historically important as the Mary Rose and HMS Victory, the ship's design influencing future Royal Navy shipbuilding. A £2 million grant was given to the salvage work, which also involved Bournemouth University and local volunteers.
Well, it's the first time in my life I've swum along the deck of an 18th century warship. And again, that's not something I ever anticipated I would do. And when we empty those decks and you've just got the deck space left, you realise how much room there is and how massive the timbers where they made this thing was. So in a quiet atmosphere, to swim around it and see that was incredible.
A third dive is due to start at the end of April to explore more areas of the ship.